Guys, I'm Dee.
And I'm Vee.
Welcome to Debt Busting Fams!
So, what are we going to talk about today?
Today, we are going to talk about some of the things we were raised. So, we're going to talk about some of the things that we learned about saving money.
Save that money.
I know.
Or don't. I don't know.
We'll see. So, as most people could tell right now, your money habits are things that you picked up from the people who've raised you, the people that you've been around, and whatever you decided to educate yourself with, because you definitely don't get that kind of education in school.
No.
So we're going to start a new series, and our series is all going to be on, we don't know what we're going to call it yet, like Money Mishaps.
Money mistakes.
I don't know. Tell us what you think, but we'll see. But basically, we're just going to take a topic, and we're going to talk about the things that we learned and how we feel about it now. And our first one is savings.
Savings. Yes. So, savings. What I learned about savings was basically don't really save.
I learned to spend. That's my savings.
Like, seriously, like if there's a vacation coming up, just get a loan. If there's something coming up that you need money for, just borrow.
Yeah.
It was not very productive, and it made me feel growing up, like as I started earning money from a job, like it made me start to feel like I don't want to live like that, really.
Yeah.
I want to try to save if I can, but then how much?
Yeah.
What do I do? I don't know.
The emphasis was more on like spending than saving.
Right.
Yeah.
Or just like there's other options if you need money and you don't have it. Like a loan.
Oh, like you'll figure it out. You'll get it.
Yeah.
I see. So I was taught to save. My mom was very big on you have to save, and never told me how much to save. So saving was like, you just save, So I'm thinking, okay. When I was a kid, I thought, well, $1,000 seems like a lot of money, so I'd save $1,000, and then it's like, as I started working and I'm making some money, I have money to play with because I have money saved. I never let my bank account go zero, so I was good because I had $1,000 in there. Yeah. And then another thing I was taught was to like hide money from yourself. Okay. And this isn't something she told me. Like my family wasn't telling me to hide money, but I'm watching them hide money.
Where would they hide it?
Like, my mom was, like, really big on, like, sticking it in books. So you'd randomly find $20.
So don't rob her mom.
Right?
Look at the books.
Go to the books. Go to the bookcase.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, I actually remember that. Like, my mom cut out, but it wasn't money. It was other things. But, yeah.
Oh, like jewelry? Like, she would hide the jewelry? Oh,
yeah, I've seen that, too. But,
yeah.
Yeah, and another thing we did was, now that I think about it, we did save, but it was like paper mache piggy banks.
Is it because they're easier to break into? I've never heard of a paper
I don't know. It was more of like an arts and crafts project.
Okay, but you really put money in it.
We put maybe coins in there, but it was never more than like $5. Maybe.
Okay.
So it wasn't like a true savings. It was like, oh, the ice cream man's here. Let's break it and get.
Oh, so we had piggy banks. We had piggy banks, and they got us like nice glass, your name on it piggy bank. Like, you better never. This is purely decorative. Put your coins in, and they never come out. They got us those piggy banks, and my mom she took us to like a bank, like when we were younger, and we opened our savings account, and it was like you put money in it. That's what you do. And then as we got a little older, like to be a teenager. But that being said, I don't think she was really putting money in there. It was like, whenever she would throw a couple coins our way, a couple dollars, and it was on us to like, she would start us off, like whatever that $5, $10 thing was, like she would start off the savings account. And then after that, we're supposed to be like saving our money, and then we'll go to the bank and we'll deposit it in there. And once we started working, then we opened up a checking account. It was one of those kids' savings accounts. And then you open up a checking account too.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. The culture that I grew up in was more of like, well, money comes in, money goes. So just have fun, go all out, spend what you can. There's an emergency. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
We'll get a loan.
It'll sort itself
Whatever.
out.
Yeah. And so that kind of mentality made me feel like, well, if I try to save, right, and then someone needs it and something comes up and it's just all gone anyways, then what's the point? I might as well just have fun too.
Then you could take the pleasure with it, yeah. For us, we were like, our family would help each other out, but it was like you don't want to be a burden to your family. So my mom was doing the single mom thing with 3 kids, so she was very much trying to be self-sufficient. So she didn't ask her mom for help. Like the only like help was there was a period of time when she divorced my dad that we lived with grandmom, and then she would help pay bills, things like that. So we were getting help because we weren't off on our own. Someone can watch us, things like that. But she wouldn't take money really from them. And then when we moved out on our own, it was like all on her. So she had, I think because she was our only guardian and we were all by ourselves, like she moved us to like South Jersey. So she was good on saving because she had to be like, and then so even when I did get a stepfather, it was the same. She was in that mindset, like you save money, you put money away, you hide money, you save money, but I just didn't get any amounts. Right. What would be a good amount? So what do you think about saving now? Like what are your saving habits?
So then eventually, right, I started taking these different books and things, and then it was like, okay, so save $1,000 or something.
Yeah,
and then
I learned the same thing.
Right, save $1,000 and then attack your debt. So that was the next thing that I learned. But it didn't really, so saving that amount of money was difficult. It was really difficult. But it always kind of didn't feel like enough. Like that wasn't a good amount, at least for my family.
Yeah.
Because we're a bigger family, and so
family of 5.
And so it happened more often than not that we saved $1,000, and then an emergency would happen, and it would take almost all of that money, and then we're starting from scratch over and over, and it was like it felt kind of futile. Like what are we doing? Yeah. Like we're never attacking the debt because we're always rebuilding the emergency fund.
So where'd you land on that? What's the resolution?
Right. So then we took this last course that we took this past, in 2019, we learned do a 1-month savings account. And that was a game changer. Yeah.
And that's us. Your expenses. Take 1 month of your expenses.
And that was such a game changer because even if we did have to take a little bit from the emergency fund, it wasn't like, oh gosh, like it's terrible, we have nothing left in there. Yeah. It's like, oh, we're still good. We still have a safety net. We can still rebuild slowly and at the same time pay off debt. It didn't feel like it's gone. There's nothing. Like, what's the point left of it? Like, start all over. And then you kind of feel like I don't have anything in my savings. It was almost like, okay, like we're still good. We still got this. We can still sleep at night. Yeah. It's going to be okay. To have the 1 month, that was huge.
And I don't think we were ever trying to like shoot for 1 month. We had started doing like Dave Ramsey plan. So I got the $1,000 message from him. But that feels so low, especially because that's the number I picked when I was 18. I don't want to pick that same number when we're a family of 3. So for me, we bumped it up just like a little bit to $2,000 because we really are putting like all our extra money into like killing our debt. We're trying to really bust this debt down. So we put our saving at $2,000 for the emergency fund. And then the rest just goes to paying off the bills and getting out of debt. That's what we're doing now.
Yeah. How did you save that money? Like, where did you put it?
Okay, so the way that we save is that we have like our checking, we have a saving, and then we were putting the money, we were doing that with the money. And then we came up with like, I think it'll be easier if we had more of a separated account, an account that we don't use that often, because that way it's harder to get to, so you're not going to just dip into it. No, I mean, like, I'm pretty good with saving. Like, I've always been, because my mom put that in me, you can never be at zero. So I'm really good With saving, I just need a number. Like, what do I need to save? So once we had like, oh, don't let it go below 2,000, it was fine. And I'll get into more specifics when we talk about like student loans and stuff like that, because this is going to tie into how we paid off our student loan debt. But we ended up opening up like a separate account just for our emergency fund, and that's where we park it.
Okay. God.
So a little harder to get to.
So for us, right, we thought, okay, we'll hide some cash in our house. But again, this was like tips that we got from people, and tips are good. It's just that the tips we're giving you, but what we learned was you have to do what works for you to make it work. Yeah. So so to do that, right, you pick up tips from lots of people. You try different things, and see right? You try different things, see if it works for you. So what we ended up doing, it wasn't working out to have to go to the ATM, take out the cash, hide the money, not get tempted to find the money because it's just right there.
You know where you hid it.
You know where you hid it. Is this an emergency? Is this not an emergency? There's no time. Just grab it. You know, like. Yeah. So it wasn't working out too well for us that way. So then what ended up working out for us was we got an online bank. So you can't go to the online bank. You can't go up to a building and just take out the money, right? Yeah. It's an online bank, and then you just transfer. You just click, 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 right? And the money just goes as soon as you get paid, and it's just there for you. And
what if you wanted to take money out?
If you want to take it out, it's like, you got to wait 3 days for the transfer to initiate. So
it slows you down.
It slows you down to make you think, like, what else can I do?
Yeah.
Like, what are the other options? And it's not just also glaring at you every time you open up your bank.
Yeah.
Online banking, you're like, all the money.
That is so cool, because we do it like the opposite way. Like, we do mostly like online banking with the accounts that we're really paying our bills and our check is being deposited into, and it's a brick and mortar bank that we keep our emergency fund in. So we gotta go there. That's why it's a little harder to get to, and it's not far. It's a mile away. But why would you do that when I could just be on my phone and I could just change around what I need right here? So that's how it's been working for us.
Right.
And now what do you teach the kiddos about saving, or what do you want for your future of saving?
Well, for my kiddos, what we've done already is we've also gotten them an online account, online savings, which I never got when I was little. I got it when I started working. And so we're really trying to help them understand why it's important to save now. And we teach them, okay, if you get money, try to save at least half, and the rest you can spend on what you like.
Yeah.
So you get money from birthdays, from family members, Christmas. Save half. You can do what you want with the other half.
That is so. I didn't even realize that, but that's what I teach my son, to save half of.
Well, you mentioned it to me once.
Oh, is that how you know? I was like, wow, that is so funny. Okay, yeah. I taught him, and there's a story behind that. Actually, I used to work with this millionaire, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, why are you working? And he was like, working because he was bored, and he was 40, so he was unique to me. Because why are you in your 40s and you're a millionaire? Like, how did you do that? Like, in my mind, millionaires are older. Like, you built that wealth over time. Right. And he told me, well, my parents raised me to, and this is when I was already an adult. I was in my 30s when I met him. Mm-hmm. And so he told me, well, my parents, they raised me to you're supposed to live on 50%, even as a child. Like, as a teenager, when he's, I don't know, working at McDonald's, whatever, it doesn't matter. But he was taught you use one paycheck and the other one you save and you invest it. So he started to just save as a teenager, and then he started investing. So even when he got older, he just kept up the same habits. Right. So even though we're living in Austin and it's a city and it's expensive, he was always doing the same thing, getting roommates, whatever he was doing. But in his mind, if he got $4,000, he had $2,000 to live with for that month. And he just lived that way all his life, and just ended up a millionaire.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Not like ended up. I mean, it's purposeful, because you're putting away 50% forever. So I taught my son the same thing. Like, you only you save 50%.
You do that. And it's so easy to teach them when they're young, this concept. And when Daphne told me this, I was like, I'm totally stealing that. Telling my kids to do that.
Yeah.
And I think it really helps them to feel like, okay, you know what? It's giving them some freedom to do what they want with their money, but also teaching them to put some away. So it's the best of both worlds, right? Because then they're not feeling deprived, like I can never spend anything. Mom, you're making me save everything.
Ruiner of lives, Mom. But that's the truth. And it's like, and even though we're talking about this whole series about what we've learned, nobody was ever really trying to sit us down like, oh, here's a real lesson. It was like, this is what you picked up. As you were moving through life, they would throw things out and you're getting it, as opposed to being like formally taught, like, let's talk about money and this is how you're supposed to handle it. And now I'm doing that with my kiddo, but I didn't have that growing up. It was like, you get a lesson. Maybe you really want to buy a toy. And then my mom's like, hey, watch yourself and how you're spending and make sure you're going for quality and not quantity. What, you know, like you get those little ad hoc lessons, but it wasn't consistently watch me pay bills and this is how I'm moving and this is how I'm handling our money. It was very much like you pick up what you pick up. No formal. You're not taught in school. You're not really taught at home. You just gonna figure it out. You're gonna learn.
Right.
And that's how it happened.
I know. And you know, we learned these lessons. Who knows how much money we wasted learning these difficult
learning opportunities,
lessons. And so we want to save you. We want to save our kids. All the pain and the money that we spent on these lessons.
Yeah. So let us know, what was something that you were taught about saving? Were you given an amount to save?
Yeah. Or like where you are on your savings goals.
Yeah.
You know, and how you're making it work or want to make it work for your family, what you're going to try.
So either like let us know what you were taught or how about both? What you were taught and what you want to do in the future with your savings.
Yes, let us know. And we'll catch you in the next video.
Bye.
Bye.